step back and figure out that over the next 5 years, as we build to a 5 trillion plus economy, as we do things, what is the kind of work do we actually want to do? Do we want to be the back office of the world, or do we want to change gears to be the front office of the world, right? Do we still want to do the work that nobody else wants to do, or do we really want to do the world that everybody aspires to do? And that's what automation allows you to think about, and automation allows you to do. Our company's vision and mission is basically to unleash human potential and be able to do what we've not been able to do before, right? In terms of making sure that humans are meant to do better than cut, copy, paste, better to do than just rule-based implementation of work, but spend more time on doing what needs judgment, what needs thinking, versus just doing mundane, repetitive tasks that don't really add value, but are necessary to be a part of the way we process and we do things. As a company, just a little bit of an introduction, we are a 20-year-old company, started focusing on the Indian marketplace around 5 years back. Broadly, number one, from a cloud infrastructure automation provider perspective, the solutions available on on-prem though as well. More than 5,000 customers globally, ranked extremely high on all analyst ratings, and operating in 90 countries plus from a deployment standpoint. But what's most interesting here is that if we were today a company measured by how many employees' work is the company doing, that answer will be close to 10 million. So as we speak today, the 3 million plus bots that we have, or the runners that run and operate in environments in customer places, are equivalent to 10 million workers working and doing the daily job that they need to do. What has happened over the years, and why this is even more important now, is the fact that our world is really changing. For example, when I started off my career, getting access to a laptop or a PC was a big thing. That laptop and PC connecting to internet was the next big thing. And then it moved to, after say 7-8 years, to people working from mobile devices, tablets, getting work done from anywhere. And in the last 3 years, it genuinely accelerated by COVID, or because of environments that happened saying work should happen from really anywhere, right? We talked about the great resignation wave 2 years back in terms of people wanting to do different things, and therefore organizations struggling to retain talent and retain capability and capacity to do what they were supposed to do. Training skills and the fact that the customer experience is changing. People expect things instantaneously, even if it's a consumer to government. For example, if I've applied for a PF transfer, I want to know in a week whether the transfer is happening or not happening, or if it is stuck, why is it stuck, versus the months it used to take before. So there is rapid pace at which things have evolved, and therefore automation becomes even a bigger imperative. What do we try and help solve? We try and help solve these broad 6 parameters. There are manual labor-intensive processes that need automation that can get responded faster, right? You don't need to wait for a week. You don't need to wait for the night to get over. They can get done 24/7. You have cost pressures, right? So why are you putting an expensive resource to do something that is repeatable, that is manual, that does not need real thinking? Complexity. You have to look at multiple systems. There is a system of record like an ERP system or a CRM system, and there is a system of work that you have to follow that traverses between a CRM system and an ERP system to get work done. You need visibility, right? You need to know where is it stuck, why is it stuck, why is an approval stuck, and how do you accelerate that? You need security, you need encryption, and you need to have customers having a consistent experience, that they can expect what they expect, and they can get what they want in a defined SLA and time frame. As a platform, what we do, and we call this as the intelligent automation platform, we start with figuring out what processes need, how do you automate, and what processes need to happen. So in better words, we figure out how does work really happen in an organization. And why it is important is that if somebody was to ask anybody, hey man, what do you do through the day? People normally talk about the most complex and exciting part of their day, or the most difficult part of the day. But that part, if you think about it, is only 10 or 20% of your day. 80% of your day is again going in repetitive stuff which you would not talk about. So you have capability to discover that how work really happens through technology such as computer vision, and then figuring out what needs to get automated based on that. You have capability to read from documents through OCR technology capability and then implement them in a robotic process engine so that workflow can happen and work can happen based on what was done. And then you have analytics and repeatability by a bot store and integrations that you have with others. And with companies that are forward-looking, that started this journey, say 7, 8, 10 years back, now things are being talked about as citizen development. And what do I mean by citizen development? Say you are an admin, right? Citizen development for an admin could mean something as simple as that her boss telling her that I need an appointment or a meeting fixed with these 7 people in 7 different departments. Now typically an admin would look up their calendar or call them and figure out. Can you have automation do that? Because if it's rule based, an automation can schedule it and she can write this herself, and that's a great example of citizen development that people can follow. What do we automate, right, as a company? First, we can mimic humans. Basically, if you look at, we can interact, or the runner that we have can interact with any web or desktop based application irrespective of the application, right? It can log in it can interact with it. It can send and it can open emails, it can create and update files, it can extract data from browsers and documents, it can fill forms, and it can copy and cut paste data as well. An example would be if you're an entity that's giving loans, right? Before you give a loan, you want to do checks with 7 different sources. Now, a human can do it or a runner can do it, and it can do it not with 7 but with 20. So depending on the loan amount, you could automate it and get it done in a manner which is faster, and therefore you can follow a system which is far more secure, far more reliable, gets you a better response in a defined time. It goes beyond, right? One, it is 100% compliant because it is not following any human-based biases. It is based on rules. It can do complicated calculations. It can involve human when an exception is needed. For example, if it's a data field missing, so it will not go into an error, but involve a human saying, hey, I was checking these 7 things. I checked 6, but 7th was not available. So here I'm sending you for an exception. Can you figure out if you want to do this or you want to reject it? It can make system collaborate, right? It is not dependent on only an API integration. You could do both API and screen GUI based integrations, which makes it extremely fast. And therefore you can do it with legacy applications, you could do it with modern age applications, and it is completely app agnostic. So if you really want to do a change which is massive, which is fast, which can be done faster, it is very easy to do it. One of our largest customers, a big bank, for example, was doing a massive transformation on a CRM system, and that transformation was supposed to take 6 months. Using our capability for all the 50,000 users of the bank, they just created some buttons, and while the organization moved to a new system, the disruption to both the employee and customer experience was next to nothing, because the system used the interface with the old and the new system to make it seamless to both the employees and from a customer experience standpoint. This journey is really worth taking, and this is our experience across large organizations. So if you look at from where you are as foundational stable today with only human-based workforce, non-standardized and fragmented processes because they're all based on humans, to starting with being efficient, right? Most customers are in India today at this efficient range when they work with us, but going forward with AI, etc., we want to be predictive and we want to be future ready. And when you are future ready, the efficiency gains are significant, right? And this is all possible today, and you have clients across the globe on various scales, where depending on where you are in the journey to where you want to be from a capability standpoint. These are some specific examples that we have done for some large public sector organizations in India. One of them is the largest oil company, one of them is the largest gas company, and one of them is the largest power distribution company or the power generation company. And again, what we have done is put processes in terms of making sure that the finance processes, travel reimbursement, employee claims, accounts payables, order to cash, procure to pay, can happen in an automated manner where the response time gets better. In fact, for example, I was a senior part of a senior discussion with say GAIL, and there the problem that they gave to us was that their monthly contract is only with 9 customers. They have annual contracts with them, and based on a ticketing, they have SAP implemented, and based on a ticketing system between them and those 9 customers, they raise an invoice based on which they get money. So the problem they gave to us was that even if you can save 1 day in that process of ticketing, handshake, and then invoicing, it means a significant cash flow improvement for them. One of the largest customers in India told us that his any day outstanding is around 80,000 crores, and his average outstanding is 80 days. Now imagine the power of automation. If automation implemented the right way can reduce that by say 10% or 8 days. So if 80,000 crores can get collected 10 days faster, the cash flow of the customer can become dramatically better. Just an example of across the board capability of automating from procurement to financial processes to human resources to mission processes, and anything, as I said, if you can think of anything that is manual, that is rule based, that is repetitive, deals with systems, can get automated. So this list is actually limitless, and we will be happy to work with you. Just a reference chart of some clients in India across public sector entities and private sector, more than 500 customers in India, and we'll be happy to partner. From a broad perspective, again, being a global company, fairly secure, available on cloud as well as on-prem, connected with various apps like SAP, Genesis, Salesforce, and again, application independent, and great user experience in making sure things get implemented well. We have a team here. The team will be happy to interact over lunch, but thank you for having us, and have a good rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I would request Mr. Shafqat Khan, Additional Mission Director, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, to please felicitate Mr. Gaurav Agarwal. So I would request, sir, to please, I request the two of you as we felicitate Mr. Gaurav Agarwal. And to do the honors, I request Mr. Shafqat Khan to felicitate him. Can we please have a huge round of applause?